Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spirosophy, where spirituality and philosophy meet. So today I wanted to talk about, basically the biggest problem at hand in this moment, which is the quarantine. Now, the entire planet is in detention, is homebound. We are told not to go outside. We are told not to meet in group gatherings greater than 3 people. And so everybody right now finds themselves in a space of constraints. A lot of people might be experiencing claustrophobia. You know, you're sitting at home and the walls are coming at you from all sides, which is all very logical, and they're all very expectable circumstances, or they're all very expectable moods that we can find ourselves in. And so many people right now view this pandemic as a curse, as this great, bad, negative thing that is sort of like a demon attacking humanity at the moment, an unseen, invisible demon flying around, flying into people's nostrils and then possessing them and taking over their body. Well, of course, coronavirus doesn't possess anyone, but as a virus is a parasite, it does leech off of the body in a kind of way. I don't want to go into that all too much. I think we all know the reasons for anxiety at the moment, and why some people are feeling more insecure than usual. Now, other people view this time more as a blessing, more as a gift that is being bestowed upon us, as a chance that's being handed to us on a silver platter that we can make use of, that we can use to help the planet and ourselves grow, to evolve to a brighter and higher place. Now, I find myself to be both of these persons at times. There are times when I'm feeling insecure, when I'm a bit fearful towards the future, to what might happen when looking at the global economy, for example, where oil has crashed. It's in the negative for the first time since 1983. And of course, the stock market is also heading towards its biggest crash at the moment. So we're seeing a lot of factors that have been very deciding for global society in the past that are now really dangling by a thread, or where that thread has actually already been cut off. So of course there are some things that could be worrisome, and I at least try to always see things in the bigger picture, and I believe that bigger picture is definitely that the world is going towards a better place. But of course, before things get better, oftentimes they need to get worse. And the question is, how much worse is that going to be? That all aside, I do think that we can really use this time. I think it's a very important time. We have much more free time on our hands now than that we used to in the past, with our social meetings, with going to work, other things that we might have partaken in before all of this started happening. And so I really believe that right now we have a golden chance to work on ourselves, to develop, to grow, not only as people, but also spiritually. I think that now is really the time to reconnect with spirit, a connection that globally we have been neglecting for far too long. And this is also because of what religions did in the past. People have a very negative view towards religion because of all of the wars, child abuse, the convincing of other people, missionaries going out into other countries trying to convince people of their faith. And because of that, we've lost our connection with God. We've become so averse to all of these things in religion that now we see, on a global level, we started seeing spirituality as a bad thing. And while I do believe that it's never possible for us to truly lose our connection with God, because as God's creation, we can never really be anything, we can never really be separate from that which has created us and that which is creating us in this moment. But we can lose our fullness of God, so to speak. There will always be some spiritual essence within us, because in the end we are spiritual beings. But but that spiritual essence can be ignited, it can be flaming, it can really fuel our being completely. Or it can just be like a tiny little candle flame that's barely alive and that's really being pushed aside, and that's flickering with every little gust of wind and every little current in the air that it meets. And not having this connection, not being in this fullness of spirit, can make us feel empty in a way. It can make us feel a little bit weak. It can make us feel, well, worrisome. And it can also make it more easy for us to be in a state of fear, because our mood, our state of being will be more dependent on everything happening externally. So the media, for example, will have a much bigger influence on us. What other people say, people who we, well, I won't say meet on the street, but people who we might watch on the internet, or people who we might meet still in small groups, might say things to us that can really take us out of ourselves, and that can move us about quite easily. And so I think if there's one thing that's really important now, that would be to be stable on the inside. Stable on the inside so that we can withstand all of these apparently negative influences coming from outside. We're being bombarded at the moment with news updates of new corona infections, of new deaths, of extensions in the lockdown, of economic problems that are mounting at the moment. And in this information age, taking all of that in uses a lot of our energy. And if we let our energy seep out in that way, in all of these channels, then we're going to not only succumb more easily to fear, but we'll also just be feeling more drained generally. So a great way to combat this, a great way to go against this, even though I don't really want to say combat or go against, because there's no fight when it comes to spirituality. But let's say the way to more easily withstand all of this is by once again slowing down and taking things easy, taking moments throughout the day to just breathe and be in the moment and to feel what it feels like to just be here, to just be with yourself, to be as yourself, and to also ask yourself at times what it means to be with yourself. What does it feel like being you in this moment right now? And to just sit with that, to just let that energy of this moment come in. This moment that is ultimately independent of the news that we might be bombarded by. Because see, when we close our eyes and we just breathe and notice the sensation of simply being alive, it's almost as if really the news doesn't exist. It's almost as if coronavirus doesn't exist. Because in the end, what is coronavirus really? I think that there's two types of viruses at the moment. The one is the physical virus that enters the body and that makes us feel ill, and it gives us flu-like symptoms and makes us cough and want to just stay in bed. But then there's also the idea of the virus, which there's a number of people who have the physical virus, but there's a way greater amount of people who have the mental virus. And well, I think that the mental coronavirus is just it's a great metaphor for the mental virus that most of us have been living with for, well, the past hundreds of years. The mental virus that, of what Buddhism says, is the root of all suffering. So now with Corona, this mental virus has just gotten another root in there. And the difference between the two, aside from that the one is physical and the other is mental, is that the one is real and the other is not. And the mental virus is not real because we'll never have a perfect conception of what this mental virus really is, of how we'll never have a perfect conception of what the coronavirus actually is. So we might contract it physically and then we have it, and then we have the experience of the virus. But the experience of the idea of the coronavirus will never perfectly align and coincide with what that virus is really like for everybody having it right now. So when we come into a state of being, pure being, without thoughts, with just sensing the moment and being aware of what is, finding ourselves in that state, a state which in fact we are already in at every moment, but we're just not aware of it. In that state, there is no mental coronavirus. And therefore, in that state, the coronavirus doesn't exist, or it doesn't have to. If you don't have it physically and you don't have it mentally, then you're free. But you're not only free from the virus, but you'll also be free from the media, from all of the negativity that's being pushed out into the world at the moment. And I'm not saying that there's only negativity being put out there. There's a lot of positivity, a lot of posts on Facebook about the planet, you know, being revived and nature healing, which is an amazing thing. And I think that we can really be thankful for that. Out here in Amsterdam, the air smells better, and I'm sure it has to do with just less pollution, less cars, less emissions being pumped out into the air. So I'm definitely not saying it's all negative, but at the same time there's a lot of negativity out there. And the more that we can guard ourselves from this, the more powerful we'll be, and the more able we'll be to withstand all of these impulses that can really attack our system and attack our state of well-being. So basically this video is just a call to come back into the moment. To come into that moment that is always there, regardless of if you're aware of it or not. And to notice and to know and to feel that when you are with yourself and you're in your being, experiencing your being, there's no reason for any negative emotion. There's no reason for worries, for anxieties. There is just a peace and a calmness and an ease. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm wishing everybody the best during these times of tribulations. I'm wishing everybody to make great use of this time, as I'm trying to do myself. I don't always succeed, but I do really feel that we have a chance here. So a chance to do something great with humanity on a collective scale. So once again, thanks a lot for tuning in. It's been a long time. I'm going to be making more of these once again. And yeah, enjoy your day. I mean, the weather is beautiful here in Amsterdam at least. So take it easy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.